Welcome to Valheim Guides. Today we're going to be taking a look at Eikthyr, who is the first boss that we'll encounter in Valheim. We start our journey where we started the game, at the Sacrificial Stones. Now essentially, you'll find what's called as the Vegvisir, if I've pronounced that right, for Eikthyr, which will essentially register the location of Eikthyr on your map. Now there is a requirement for summoning Eikthyr, which is a deer trophy, which as you'd expect can be commonly found on deer. Now it's not a guaranteed drop, but you will find it more often than not. This is actually hinted to you if you visit his altar, because next to the altar you'll find a runestone. If you interact with the runestone, it will tell you hunt his kin, which basically is telling you to go and hunt deer. Now I'm not necessarily saying, quickly go and kill a deer, run back to the altar, throw down the deer trophy and start your fight. You may struggle with that fight, to be fair, especially if you're new to the game. What I would suggest at this point is going to get yourself prepared for your fight with Eikthyr. Now you can choose one of two paths. The first would be to fight him with melee weapons. Now for this I would heavily advise you have at least a set of leather armour, and obviously leather is something you can obtain from boars. And with the weapon that you choose to fight him with, make sure that you have a weapon skill of at least say around 10 or higher. The second route by far is an easier route, and that is essentially with the bow and arrow. Now I would advise, similar to the first route, that you have at least a set of leather armour and preferably a weapon skill of 10 or higher with the bow. And if you can, try and get yourself maybe around 50 flint arrows. If you can't, don't worry, wooden arrows are fine, it's just you'll kill him faster with the flint arrows. Now that we're prepared, we can go and summon Eikthyr. So the first thing we'll need to do is make our way back to the Eikthyr altar. Now once we're at the altar, to actually summon him you need to place the deer trophy in your action bars. Once it's in your action bars, walk up to the mystical altar and press the necessary action key which corresponds to where your deer trophy is located. Once you've done that, summoning shall begin. Now that we've summoned Eikthyr, let's run down the mechanics of this fight. Eikthyr only has 3 mechanics. The first is a lightning blast. This is where he emits a ball of lightning from his current position radiating outwards. The tell for this mechanic is when he stands on his hind legs and stomps the ground. This can be avoided with a dodge or moving out of the blast radius. The second is a directional lightning bolt. This is where Eikthyr will shoot a bolt of lightning in front of him. The best way to avoid this is a dodge or move to the side of him. The tell for this is similar to the lightning blast, except he will perform this quicker and also swing his head to the side slightly. The final mechanic is an antler fling. This is where he will put his head down and try and flick you up with his antlers. The best way to avoid this is with a dodge. This mechanic is important for melee, as once you've avoided it, you essentially get an opportunity to get a couple of free hits in. Now from this point, all that we need to do is rinse and repeat until he dies. Once he dies, you can go and collect your reward, which will also include Eikthyr trophy. Once you've collected Eikthyr trophy, Hugin should appear and tell you to return it to the Sacrificial Stones. Once at the Sacrificial Stones, find Eikthyr Stone. Now essentially Eikthyr Stone is the big stone with the deer on it. You may also notice there is a chain around it. This is essentially where you need to put Eikthyr trophy. Now to actually place Eikthyr trophy on the stone, what you need to do, similar to the way that you used to summon Eikthyr at his altar, is place Eikthyr trophy on your action bars and press the corresponding action button to where you've located Eikthyr trophy. Doing this will grant you Eikthyr power. Eikthyr power will give you a 60% reduction in stamina for both jumping and running for up to 5 minutes. There is a 20-minute cooldown on use of this ability though. It's worth pointing out that when Eikthyr dies, he also drops hardened antlers. Hardened antlers are essentially what is used to create a mining pick. So if you're curious to know how to start mining, essentially what you need to do is kill Eikthyr. Now you can kill him multiple times, all you need is deer trophies. And that in a nutshell is everything you need to know about Eikthyr. Now I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. And if you want to keep up to date with all my latest videos about Valheim, please don't forget to subscribe.